Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Hello. We're here. Welcome.
Hey.
To Into the Twilight. Old fans, new fans, casual fans who are just watching it on Netflix. Welcome.
Right. Yes, you're all welcome.
You are all. This is a safe space for you. We're glad that you're here. I am glad that folks are finally recognizing, because, you know, we talk about this often, that Netflix sometimes gets the Twilight series. It never has a permanent home, right? It's constantly Airbnb-ing around.
Sure.
It's a crime, but we persist. It's always nice to be able to have folks recognize the true power that are these series. And the current discourse that I'm seeing is folks finally realizing the comedy that is these movies.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say, hello, what do you think that we've been doing this whole time?
Welcome.
Pull up a seat, get comfortable, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You're safe here. And we're glad. We're glad that you're here. I am so glad that you are able to report live from Chicago this week.
Right. From the holiest place in these continental United States.
Right.
Central time is now God's time, motherfucker. Get with it, okay? International holiest drink, Malort, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
We didn't need to give Chicago more of an ego, and yet here we are.
And yet, God is looking down upon us directly and choosing us. How about that? How about that?
Do you think this is what that Farmer's Almanac was talking about when they said sultry summer?
Yes, I think so.
Sultry meant approved by the Lord.
Yeah, approved by the holiest up there. Shout out my man up there in the sky. I see you.
Oh, God. Literally God. How are you?
I'm here. I'm living. I'm feeling about 10% holier, which is huge.
I mean,
it's
amen,
great.
you know?
Started from a net zero, so that's great.
Right. It's only up from here.
It's only up from here, baby. The ball's rolling up. I want to talk about a show
called Starstruck Odyssey.
Listen, this week I had to stop myself from bringing Starstruck and also Drag Race because I just bitched about Drag Race for like 10 minutes last week. So I need to just take a breather, okay?
Sure.
However, I want to talk about a show. There's so many freaking shows right now. So I'm trying to be like, give ample time to things I am enjoying.
Yeah.
And one of them is The Studio on Apple TV.
Listen.
I
was so convinced that you were going to fucking bring the titular episode of The Rehearsal this week. I was like, I could have bet money on it.
Yeah, sure. And that's fair. I keep thinking about it, but then I'm like, I don't know how to talk about this show yet. You know what I mean?
And that's honestly fair.
In a contained environment. So I'm stewing, I'm pestering, okay? We're here.
No, I agree.
But I want to talk about the frickin' Studio. My man Seth Rogen. He's back, baby.
Right.
He's back. And one thing that we love and is true about Apple TV shows is that there's a fuck ton of money behind them. Even if like 12 people see them. And that's the shit I love, you know? And I love that they do that.
Right.
That's for me.
They make them for a pizza party, and that's it.
Yes. Right. And I'm here, okay? And this is Seth Rogen essentially as a new, like, studio head of, like, a big fancy movie studio in LA. But because it's Seth Rogen, he is very, not really good at his job. Or, like, he cares about it, but he's, like, also very desperate for people's approval. he wants every actor and producer to like him a lot.
Yes.
Mostly at his own petard, right? And then being like, you are now kind of the big bad guy because you're the studio head, which means everyone kind of hates you, and that sucks. And it's wonderful. It's got Ike Barinholtz, who I fucking love in everything. Catherine Hahn's there. Catherine O'Hara's there.
Oh my god.
It's gorgeous. It's a really kind of an excuse for Seth Rogen to get a bunch of money from Apple and drive really nice cars, and I love that. I love it. It's beautiful. And it's very, like, it feels very topical. It feels very talking about a lot of, like, movie entertainment related issues, but still with, like, a lot of humor and a lot of, like, also egoism and selfishness, or, like, trying to do the right thing but being so bad at doing that, that you fail and fall over a lot. There's a lot of Seth Rogen falling very dramatically in this show, which is great. I love that. It's really fun for me. There's a lot of, like, one take kind of, like, vibes going on in some of the episodes. It's very well done, and it's very fun, and it's a nice little just, let's talk about da movies and the people who make da movies.
It is. I've seen a couple of people who are in dub-is talk about this show with completely high marks, and also saying how real it is. Of, like, I've been brought in to write and pitch about this IP, making fun of it because that's what everyone said that we were supposed to do. We get up to the highest meeting, and then they don't move us forward because we were making fun of said IP. Like, this show is too real, and that's unfortunate.
Yes. And I think the best teaser here is, like, one of the first, I think it is the first episode. It has my boy, Martin Scorsese. There's a whole thing about getting the IP for a Kool-Aid movie to be the next Barbie, right? That great IP. And, you know, Seth Rogen's character at this point is very much like, I want to make movies that make money, but I also want to make, like, good movies, right?
Yeah.
How do I bridge those together? And Martin Scorsese is writing a Jonestown movie. Jesus. And he's like, wait a minute, stars align, baby. I got a great idea. So that's just fun, wacky scenarios, wacky, beautiful things.
It is wild to me to think that there are people who assume, or just inculturally think, Seth Rogen is just like, oh, that's the weed guy.
Yeah, right?
And aren't, like, haven't watched him since Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
That is a weird thing for me to have to wrap my brain around. Of, like, well, of course, that's Seth Rogen. He's funny. He's done goofs and gaffes. But also, you know, 5 years ago, he did An American Pickle, which brought me to my knees weeping.
True. Yes. Yeah.
He contains multitudes.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm here. I am alive. I wanted to bring this as my happy thing this week, but it's not too much. There's not a lot of meat on them bones. It's just that one of my podcasts that I enjoy listening to, Nicole Byers, Why Won't You Date Me? Drew Afualo is on this week.
Oh, love.
And my God, it's very good. So please enjoy that.
Hell yeah.
My happy thing is truly a capital H, capital T happy thing this week.
Love.
As someone who has lived in the Pacific Northwest my entire life, I love this land. I think that I often forget that it's not nature that folks are used to all the time.
Yeah.
And there's a video that I saw a couple of days ago that reminded me that the beautiful trees and mountains and water that I see all of the time are as beautiful that they are. And I wanted to bring that to the space. It was a video by the TikTok account, the 1870 Studio, which is a user that apparently lives in a church, this old abandoned church in Pennsylvania. But her and her husband are on a trip here in Washington for the first time. And I stumbled upon it because this woman stumbles upon in the road. They just pulled over to this road and see a Douglas fir for presumably the first time.
Sure.
And she is like moved to tears by smelling this tree, and like smells it. Douglas fir kind of smell like pine.
Sure.
And she's touching it and is like, oh my God, it's beautiful. And like pans over and you see a snow-covered peak, because in May we still have some snow on our mountains, thank God. And it just reminded me like, damn, it's beautiful here. And yes. It was just one of those things where it's like, I know Pennsylvania is not flat, but
sure.
their hills, some people call mountains, which is very odd to me because our mountains are a little bit different. But it was just very pure, very sweet, and reminded me of how grateful I am for our land here, and how much I would like our trees to just stay where they are.
Yeah. Big fan of those trees out there.
Big fan of them. Big fan of the air that they create, and and I'm so used to them that of course I think that they're pretty, but I don't. I'm not often like, they don't give me the hosier yell. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
And this was definitely the equivalent of that, in just the purest definition of wonder. That it made me so happy for the world that I live in. And I would like it to not fucking be touched. Please and thank you.
Right. I love that quite a lot, actually.
That would be great. But it was very pure of heart, and I appreciate people sharing their moments of wonder.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah. Very nice. We have just the opposite pieces of news this week. One is very current, which is a fashion corner. Would you like to take us back to our fashion corner?
Absolutely. Pew, 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 pew. We have a beautiful Met Gala fashion corner here because our girl, Suki Waterhouse, was there. Robert showed up a little bit later to the after party, which, hell yeah, go off.
He would have killed it, though.
Yeah. And just listen, Suki, love and light. However, and we talked about this when we were talking about your happy thing a couple weeks back, being like, this is going to be great. But also, I know there's going to be some folks who are not paying attention to the brief.
Yes.
In a very particular way. And we did see quite a few examples of that.
Yeah.
And Suki is, it's a nice dress. It's very pretty.
I mean...
But... For here?
I recognize that celebrities that walk the carpet have very little, if at all, any control of what they wear.
Yeah.
Suki herself looks great.
Yes.
Whatever is happening there, not on theme. And also, there's just... I have no notes. Is my thought. Just because I don't understand. Why is there a halter? Why is there a belt?
Yeah.
Her leg looks great. That's all.
Yes, yeah. Shout out the slit. We got the leg out. We're here.
Even if she was like, I'm going to be a basic... Like, if she went the usual route that a lot of men go most Met Galas, which is like, I'm going to wear a basic black tux. Can you imagine Suki showing up to this in an incredibly well-tailored black tux? I would have fainted.
Yeah.
I would, that would have, these two, because I know that Rob wasn't going to go, but like, Rob looks beautiful in tailored content.
Yeah.
And it's just disappointing. I get what they're going with. I see the top. Everyone shut up. I get it that it's supposed to look like a suit. I get it. I just don't like it.
I understand.
You don't.
What he's going for.
You don't need to email me. I get it. It's just, I'm unamused.
Yeah. And it's just, listen, Suki talks a big game.
She does
and I know
talk
she's
a big game.
Mother. and she's doing stuff. She's got a lot going on. But the audacity to be like, posting on TikTok before, being like, in just a couple of hours, all these twinks on the internet are going to be judging my outfit. And this is the outfit? Listen.
Looking camp
don't
right
be
in the eye.
Don't be looking camp right in the eye right here if you're not going to commit, okay? So, we need to be a little less loosey-goosey. Certain terms now, because I'm getting a little nervous, guys. I'm getting a little nervous.
I'm disappointed. I'm not mad.
Sure. Yeah. Listen, it's not even like a huge miss. It's just like, it's fine. It's just like, it's not
fine.
Really for this, and that's okay. You still look good. Whatever.
It's just, you see other people who, like, showed up as a pinstripe tie, for example.
Right, yeah. Yeah, who became a tie.
Right.
Yeah.
Stylists need to do better, is all I'm saying. Why would you look at someone like Suki and be like, this is it. This is what I'm going to put her in. But I could say that about a lot of different people that evening. The after party photos were beautiful, though. They made me happy.
Yeah, very cute.
I'm glad that Rob made an appearance. It was the mirror one that you enjoyed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. It's a great pick. Great personality pick.
And I would argue, annoyingly, that her after party looks better.
Yeah, it's kind of more appropriate.
I'm pissed. I'm so fucking annoyed. But this photo of Rob in the mirror makes me happy. He's such a silly goose. I hope these folks had an enjoyable time and they fulfilled their contractual obligations. It's gotta be exhausting to have to put your kid down and then all you want to do is go enjoy yourself on a rainy New York evening, and then Rob's like, well, fuck, I gotta go to this after party. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard out here. It's
hard out here to be a celebrity, Listen.
Yeah.
I encountered some, and I'm saying current events here very loosely. I encountered a couple of news here about Matthew Davis, who we have known as Rick for the Vampire Diaries. Two pieces of very important information. One, I did not realize that he was Warner and Legally Blonde. Didn't even clock it.
Yeah, I completely did not even realize.
That's
wow.
Those two felt like completely different characters in my brain. And honestly, can't say that I think about Warner at all. And so hadn't connected those dots.
Yeah.
So that is wild, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, and this is thank you to IMD Bridget on TikTok. Thank you. That's a mouthful, but I do love I love it. That's great. Who brought up that Matthew Davis and Paul Wesley got into some Twitter drama, and it wouldn't be a CW show without some Twitter beef. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Specifically back in 5 years ago, so back during the 2020 election. This isn't new for him. Apparently Matthew Davis got into quite a few Twitter spats with folks. But it was coming up where Matthew was trying to insinuate that Paul had voted for Trump in the 2016 election, which I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But Paul was like, fuck you, fuck your mom. I never did that. And it was a whole rigmarole. It was a whole thing.
Yeah. These tweets, are also his Twitter, display name being Mr. Davis is deranged. And Paul Wesley is out here being like, hey, that's not true. Also, but still keeping it within, show lore of being like, guys, Rick drinks from Vervain. He's acting out. He's losing it. It's what are we doing? What is this? What is this back and forth?
Yeah.
God.
There are a lot of things about some of the cast members, specifically Ian, that I, for the sake of this show, have to push down. And not forget at all, but need to specifically just close that box when I watch. Because if I think about it too much, then I just start rambling like that. Just the old man talking to clouds kind of thing. But this is wild. I did not know any of this because why would I be locked into Matthew Davis Twitter drama? That is not a fandom that I was a part of. But this is specifically a Reddit thread, because of course, it titled Matthew Davis Twitter drama mega thread. There's apparently at one point a of course, there was a change.org petition that was created asking for him to get fired from the show.
Oh my god.
And that is a lot. It had over 8,000 verified signatures on it. Titled The Issue Matt is all around a problematic person. And that word specifically, because you were on Tumblr at the time, like your fave is problematic, like that is
that's a dark harbinger.
It's just
what's to come.
Knowing this context is interesting because we're just watching the show. We don't have a lot of context of what was happening, except for the very vague stuff that the wiki puts on there about like hashtags sometimes. And so I would love it if you were watching this show at this time. I would love more of this context of what was happening at the time, because it's just good flavor to know.
Totally. Oh yeah.
It just helps to, because I wasn't in there. Of course, I saw TVD stuff happening on Tumblr, but I scrolled by it because that wasn't my table to have lunch at.
Sure.
Oh my god, it kills me a little bit, but I appreciate people doing the good work on here. How, especially after last week of Stand By Me, how did this episode bring it on to you?
Bring it on, baby.
Bring it on.
We're doing cheerleading. We're doing mean girl shit. We're killing people with no remorse, baby. Listen, I have always been a strong proponent of specifically Nina Dobrev doing bad girl shit. Yeah. Right? When she's Catherine, that's fun because it seems like she's having a good time. And now that Catherine is like, involved in the narrative but not really here that much, it is nice to see that a little bit, but for Elena, so it is also like a different characterization of the same kind of vibe.
I agree.
Because, shit got her, emotions turned off. She feels nothing, baby. She's gonna be mean girl. She's gonna be cheerleader. She's gonna eat you and steal your ribbon, bitch. Ugh. Like, she's not here to play. And I do appreciate that. It's very sad, but it is fun to watch.
Yeah, this isn't a game to make friends.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
Calling it Vampire Prozac did a lot for me personally.
Yeah, that was really good.
And I figured, just by the photo that we saw last week of Elena in the cheerleading costume, I was like, this is, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to get a little gay.
Yeah.
But I always have my expectations low with the show. I was so pleasantly surprised by how homoerotic this episode was.
Oh, yeah.
They very much leaned into it. And I thank you, first of all. Because if you're going to give me an episode without Jeremy and without Bonnie, even though something's very wrong and they're just pretending that, like, that's fine.
It's like she's just living a normal life. And it's like, I don't think that's true. You're hiding something from me. There's something, you're torturing her in the back and I can't see it. And I don't like it.
Yeah, they're just saying like, oh, Bonnie's just like stressed. I talked to her yesterday, but we find out through multiple lore drops throughout this episode that Silas is going to every hospital in a 30-mile radius and stealing all the blood, and nobody's worried about it.
Great. I love to, in that confrontation, because, Miss Deputy, whatever, is like, hey, Stefan, real bad shit's going on right now.
Yeah.
Because all the hospitals, all the blood bags, gone, right? And the way that Stefan looks at her and is like, are you blaming me? Are you blaming us? It's very funny. Because it's like, I know he didn't do it, but also like, I mean, is that kind of
if the shoe
out of the
fits,
question? Stefan? Yeah, I don't want to point fingers here, but
in the grand scheme of history,
this is
Stefan,
familiar
like 2
behavior.
seconds ago, you were the Ripper. So what do you want Liz to do?
Right. Yeah, it's not really an unfair categorization, my dog. Like,
I don't back the blue, Stefan. But you are you are like the family of vampires that's always into fuck shit in this town. So I feel like it's natural for her to go to you and be like, are you into some fuck shit, Stefan?
Right, you're kind of public enemy number one as far as it pertains to missing blood bags from the hospital, Stefan.
Correct.
So I do get why you're upset. However, let's look inward. Let's think about this, okay?
Yeah, it wasn't Damon who was the one collecting blood bags to put in the deep freezer, Stefan.
Right. Come on now.
So there's a reason why she went to you and not Damon, Stefan.
Yeah.
Okay?
God.
Jesus. No, I agree with you. He was so
silly.
personally offended. He was like, I thought we were buds, Liz. And she's like, bitch.
Yeah. It's like, I have to do my job.
Not only do I have to do my job, I have to make sure that my daughter doesn't get outed. I mean, told.
Yeah.
I mean, just Stefan, figure it out.
Yeah. God.
I love this too.
Jesus.
Because they're solely, everyone who finds out about the blood being stolen, that confrontation, Damon and Rebecca, they're all focusing on it of like, oh, that's so weird that someone is stealing all this blood. We're probably going to need that. Not focusing on the fact that there are humans in this hospital who are going to need surgeries, blood transfusion.
Sure.
Like, there are people who are going to die without this blood. And they're like, damn, we were going to use that.
It's so silly, too. Like, even Elena, right, is being like, did you do this? And she's like, nah, I'm kind of into the, like, hot stuff now. I'm kind of into that fresh shit. So, and it's like, that is not, it's like, this is not your, like, Kool-Aid. Your Capri Sun jammers, okay? This is, people are sick. There's one hospital in this town.
I know,
and a lot
Elena.
of people get into traumatic injuries every day here.
No, for real. That's the whole thing about Mystic Falls is that like every week we have an event and then every week there's a mass casualty like Grey's Anatomy. So we need that stockpile.
I need a season of The Pit set in the Vampire Diaries so bad.
Oh my god. Just one
wanna know what that shift looks like.
Season would be an out like that 12-hour shift there and they would
Absolutely
be so stressed out.
Yeah. Oh
God. It's so wild. I know. Listen, I know Elena's on her vampire Prozac shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that she's gone solely back to farm to table with her blood and not on her like blood bag koozie, wild choice.
Yeah.
Interesting pivot, Miss Ma'am.
Okay.
Just starting off with her just laying in the street and I was like, oh, mood. And then it was like, oh no, you're trying to catch people. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, it's like, come on, girl. Just have some alone forest time and process. I know you don't have emotions or anything, whatever, but like, take a little walk.
And even Damon says that. He's like, I literally can't believe you're making me say this, but like, show a little restraint right now, girl.
Yeah, like, this is coming from me, dog. Like, that's rough. That's tough, man. Yikes. Get it together. Jesus.
Please. It is interesting that this is going to be no emotions. I think they're calling it like no humanity, which is interesting. But no emotions, Elena, and the sire bond isn't working.
Yeah.
Love that. No rules, just right, Elena.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going real uncharted territory here.
Who's decided now, all of a sudden, that she's really into texting.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, okay. Okay.
There's
Popular girl.
I've
Let's
never
go.
related more to Stefan in this episode. By the end, when he finally just like flipped it and he was like, who the fuck have you been texting for 2 hours? And we find out that she was just coordinating a house party.
Yeah.
Real.
It's like, this is your friend group. You don't talk to literally anyone else.
Everyone that
So,
you like is here. So who are you talking to right now?
Right. Who are you on the phone with? It just makes this fucking rager out here. All the cool kids. Totally just reasonable teen shit. Nothing weird going on here.
Nothing weird.
Don't worry about it.
No weird stuff at all. It is... I thank you, Nina Dobrev, for carrying the show always and forever.
Yeah.
Because this really does feel like a different iteration. This is a new character that's been unlocked.
Yeah.
Compared to the Elena that we have seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
No other iteration would have just completely stripped and walked around naked before.
Yeah.
I also think this has never come up before, but the fact that they're showering at the Salvatore house because of the filters there. This is now very important. Maybe it's just because in the past week or so they've been on that island and so it wasn't a factor.
Yeah.
And that's why. But that was very important this episode, and
yeah, they got those sweet filters in there. They got those. Yeah, nice water pressure too. You know? Just got the rinse in there.
I had not thought the way we were going to get Elena back into cheerleading was because the poster was next to Jeremy's. And that hurt me a lot.
Yeah, that's tough.
But that is a testament to Nina's acting, because it was just no emotion on her face at all. Kills me. It kills me. But sure. No one else on the team was questioning why suddenly Caroline and Elena are back.
Yeah. It's like in Glee when they're like, sometimes we're in it, sometimes we're not. You know, like we kind of choose when we do and do not want to be Cheerios. And it's like, I don't think that's how high school cheerleading works. I feel like that's much more rigorous than y'all are projecting it to be. But
not
whatever.
only because that's how sports work, but also for safety reasons.
Right. Yeah.
But sure, we can pretend, I
Go
guess.
off. Whatever. Yeah.
I did appreciate not only was it just for the plot, but that Elena did it presumably because she wanted to hunt for someone that didn't have vervain in their system. Smart. Love that. Thank you, Elena.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I love the idea that because there is she just got spaghetti for brains right now. The idea of why
it's all jumbled up in there.
Right. That there's the idea that she would choose her hunt in that moment is not just because they're going alone, right, to go get their makeup, but also it's like, I want this ribbon. That's so basic. Elena.
The way that she like hops on that school bus and is like, hey bitch, it's a cool ribbon you got there. And she's like, thank you so much. She's like, I want it. She's like, okay, no, I'm using it, so no. And she's like, bitch, I'll kill you. I love that, like, because when Stefan's the Ripper, he's much more fun, right? Because he, like, I mean, obviously horrible, but, like, as an actor, like, he gets, like, into it in, like, a fun way of being like, I don't give a shit. Everything's turned off, baby.
Yeah.
Fuck with me. And it goes into, like, very macho, masculine stuff. But when it's Elena, it's just like, I'm gonna be Queen Bee. And, like, be, like, mean girl, bitchy girl. And that's such a good interpretation of that.
It is wild to see, because we get that of, like a toddler, of, like, I don't care that you're playing with this, I want it now. Letting Caroline fall.
Yeah.
And then her saying that she doesn't have any emotions. But she does feel some type of way when Caroline and
Mhm.
Stefan are hanging out at the house party.
Yeah.
So, Miss Ma'am, what do you mean?
Yeah. You got some stuff going on there.
Right.
You know?
That is
That's
a choice. They've done this for the last few episodes now, where the writers are trying to have more screen time with Caroline and Stefan, and I don't know what that is.
It's fucking sick and disgusting is what it is. I don't love it.
I don't
don't love what's happening here.
I don't like it. I much prefer them in these are just they're like when they're cleaning out, I prefer it. I don't like this.
Yeah.
This episode in particular felt far more like they're trying to get the audience to ship them together, and I don't like that.
Yeah. That's a no for me, dog.
That's a hard pass for me. Put me in a America's Got Talent. I need my X button. No, thank you. Not only is it just awkward, like it feels artificial, but
yeah.
No.
Yeah, you can't do that. You cannot do that. I won't let you.
You
Absolutely
can't just
not.
try to keep pushing her with the next guy that's in front of her face.
Yeah.
Let her get out
Once
of this
again,
town. Thank you.
Let her be a lesbian.
Yeah.
Let her go to college and be gay. What's the problem?
It's embarrassing.
You guys make me sick. Yeah. What the fuck?
Trust your audience. Let her explore.
Yeah.
Also, speaking
Jesus.
of forced things, the Haley Klaus this episode. Why?
Yeah. That came out of fucking nowhere.
I understand that there's some plot that we need to get. That there's Haley knows where Catherine is. Klaus is trying to figure that out. We obviously need to get more information of where Catherine is there. But this whole thing with the art and the sex, I don't care about her.
Yeah.
She has a moon birthmark. Are you kidding me?
And the fact that she's like, I don't really know what this is. And Klaus is like, I've seen that before. It means something. And she's like, oh, word. Okay. Can we fuck now? Thank you.
This will be, at least on camera anyways, the second time that she will fall for someone who is manipulating her because they have information about her family. Haley, girl.
Yeah. Girl, get up. Get up. I can't keep going on like this.
Embarrassing stuff that's happening here. There was something about that. Oh, that's what it was. We did get confirmation from Rebecca that Shane is gone, girl, on the island.
Yeah.
Good riddance. I figured that he was not going to be able to make it back with the amount of injuries.
He didn't look like in a great spot when we saw him last, so it's pretty tough.
So I figured, but it was nice to be able to get that confirmation there.
Sure.
There were a couple of moments in the middle of this episode where I just wrote down question marks when things happened. This one I wrote hearts next to, but Elena's bang bump.
Oh my god.
This is 2013, so it did feel very nostalgic, and I appreciated it immensely.
Yeah, that was a good commitment to the time period for sure.
Yes. The first question mark that I had was Will. Specifically, Damon's connection to Will.
Yeah.
I don't know this man.
Yeah, I feel like they're like assuming that we have an understanding of what this relationship is already, of being like, oh yeah, Will, for sure. We all love and remember and know their deep connection. Totally. Makes sense that he just pops out of there and be like, hey bestie, what up? It's like, I got nothing. I got nothing here.
They showed that photo like I'm supposed to know who that man is. Who is this man?
Right. I don't know who this man is. I'm sorry, I don't know this man.
I don't.
Sorry to this man. But I don't.
It was a very homoerotic photo. It was beautiful, but
Sure.
I didn't know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know, man. So yikes. First of all, to that, I put a lot of question marks when I saw Caroline and Stefan pretend flirting ? Hated it. Didn't like it. Most relatable part of this episode for me, Damon walking into his house after a really long day. When he's been fighting, trying to investigate with Rebecca about what's been going on, and he just sees a full-ass house party of teenagers.
He's like, God damn it.
And he can't even compel them because there's vervain in the water supply. These folks there's no way. Yeah. So he's like, well, all right, great. Thank you.
Guess I'm just going to have a bad night. Awesome.
Great.
Cool. Everything's going really good for me right now. I'm having a great time.
And instead of being able to get drunk, he gets a text that Elena's AWOL. And so he's got to go deal with this bullshit.
Yeah.
These two.
Scoundrels. Absolute lunatics.
There's no two people that I trust less to break up a fight between Elena and Caroline than Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
God.
Okay. Sorry, I'm flustered because this was such a beautiful scene. Elena and Caroline fighting. There's a moment where Caroline says, "Shut up." And Elena says, "Make me." And I said, "Thank you for this cinema." Yeah. Because it was very beautiful and profound to me. It was so charged in those woods. And
I felt it.
I felt it. I wanted them to fight each other. I wanted them to kiss. And then Tweedledee and Tweedledum came up and they tried to break it up. And it was awful.
And it's just like, listen. I know Elena's on her hot girl shit right now. She's like, you can't fuck with me. I have no feelings. I don't give a fuck. My brother's dead. What brother? I don't know. Right? Yeah. I'm number one girl in this group. Right? And it's like, listen. And Caroline has done a lot of self-growth over the last few years. However, at her core, at her truth,
that's Regina George.
She's number one girl in this group.
Yep.
She's number one girl in this school. Okay? So you want to fight? You want to go toe-to-toe and act a fool? And Caroline's like, I've been you, bitch, and and you're sucking at it. You're doing like, fuck you, this is not you. You're cosplaying a worse version of me, bitch. And like, you can't. Sorry. Like, wake the fuck up and be so for real. Like, you're a person. Fuck out of here with this.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Elena, you can't be Caroline, and I don't want you to try, because you're not.
Right. Yeah.
It's just... We don't have to fight that way. We don't.
It doesn't have to be like this.
I'm very confused by the premise, because Damon tries to take her back to the house and lecture her. Mm-hmm. And Elena's like, well, I do feel Damon. I feel amazing. And then the idea that by the end of this episode, they have decided to go to Broadway? What the fuck? Why are we going to New York right now? So I was on the loose.
I lost my goddamn mind.
What do you mean?
Because, both of these people are not doing great, right?
No.
And I get it. I feel it. I see it. And you are specifically not really attuned to what the fuck is going on here right now. Like, unfortunately, Stefan is somewhat helpful, as much as he can be, which is not very, but more so, right? Of being like, hey, you're being kind of a bitch right now, and you're kind of making it hard for everyone here, and also I don't think you're enjoying this. And, like, you're objectifying me and being like, hey, I don't really feel anything anymore, but I can see that you're hot, and I remember our sex was good. So, question mark? And he's like, what are you doing? And so I get that, right? There's a lot of things going on here, and, the sire also not being in effect here, and Damon still has no sense of what is reality, what is not, and he just knows how to fuck around and find out, right? And just do some ill-advised shit. And so when they're like, And Stefan calls him in the car, and he's like, hey, dog, kind of a red alert here. We think Silas is here because that's where all the blood is going, and there's like a lot of different hospitals that's going on in, and so this is probably like a really important thing we should focus on. And Damon's like, it sounds kind of boring, you know, I'm good. I'm gonna go do my own thing, actually. You have fun, though. And then it's just him and Elena queening out, driving to New York City.
I don't know why this felt like such a revelation for Stefan, because presumably yesterday in the timeline of the show, when they came back, Damon had told Stefan about Bonnie that, like, she's talking about this massacre that needs to happen, and this came out of left field. Like, this is not Bonnie. So if it's not Bonnie, and it's not Shane, because Rebecca told me that Shane's not alive anymore, then if it's not A and it's not B, then it has to be Silas. Why the fuck?
Who's the one haunted, reborn vampire that we've seen in the last 24 hours? Oh, I wonder who could be responsible for this. Guys, I know you got a lot of interpersonal relationships you're working on right now and some personal problems, and I see that, I hear that. However, turn your fucking brains on. You didn't turn your brain off when you turn your feelings off.
I mean, fuck, they might have, though.
They might have accidentally hit all the switches.
Wrong lever, Croc.
Maybe that switch is just... that was been pulled. Yeah. I just... y'all, like, be so frugal.
They need...
Get these people away from a murder mystery party. You know what I mean? Their deduction skills are...
I mean, Jesus.
Absolutely horrid.
It kills me that it has... and I know, I get it. I know that a lot has happened over the last 24 hours, but what the fuck do you mean? Because who was manipulating Bonnie and who was manipulating Shane? It was Silas. You know this, Damon, and Stefan, you know this too. So why are you both like, oh my god, I can't, what could possibly be happening now? Why is no one, why is so Stefan weird. Not on his way to Bonnie right now?
Yeah. We need to check in on Bonnie, you guys. Because she's going to do something. I'm scared.
But instead,
nobody's looking after her.
Stefan pacing in a circle. Elena and Damon off, not to Vegas, to New York because it's closest, I guess, ?
Sure.
And Matt is now a property owner. Because that's what orphans do in this town.
That's so funny. First of all, like, RIP Tyler, right? I mean, not RIP. I guess he's still technically alive, but he's going to be being chased down for his entire life. So probably RIP soon, right?
RIP soon, yeah.
And poor Matt comes in. It's like, hey, I got this letter. It's kind of important you should read it. And it's like, hey, girl, it's Tyler, your man's. Did you forget about me?
Also, when did we start calling her Pear, by the way?
Yeah, right. When was that a pet name? That's confusing. Okay, new lore, sure. Yeah. We're just retconning the cutesiness of your relationship. Okay, sure. And being like, hey, babe, like, I know I love you and you love me, but, like, this is really tough, and I'm on the run probably for the rest of time, and that's going to be really bad. And, like, I don't want you to be implicated in that, so what if we just, like, cut off girlfriend? Also, I've transferred the property, the deed, in your name, so you are a landlord. Congratulations. Welcome to the esteemed group of you and Elena who are teenage landlords in the town of Mystic Falls, and property owners.
And I know that the deed had to go to Matt because he has to invite Caroline in, right?
Right, yeah.
But this is a real fuck you to Matt because he is now in charge of a mansion, right? Like a literal mansion, who's working on a restaurant salary. He's a server at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So, what, sir?
Yeah, he's like,
He's going to have to pay fucking property
taxes.
Like
thinking about college, you know? Like, I'm trying to, get my money up. I'm trying to get my grades up. I'm just kind of somehow involved in all of your fuck-ass shit. But, like, I'm living a human life, you know? So, this sucks.
He's got to go figure out how to pay for a lawyer to make sure that he knows how to handle all this stuff. What is he...
Right.
You
It's like, how do property taxes work? I'm 18. I don't know what's going on. I'm scared.
Oh, poor kid. Yeah, no, it was awful. I know that it was because Caroline is in denial, but it was awful to watch her be like, "Oh, he's not coming back," and it's like, "Yeah, girl."
Yeah.
I personally hate it when Caroline cries. It makes me sad. It doesn't bring me strength. It saps my energy. But it was just so fucking funny because Matt's standing there in the background holding this deed like, damn dog, you've now added about 20 tasks to my plate. And I work a full-time job and I'm going to high school. What am I supposed to, like, fuck you, Tyler. Like, you're now
always
my
causing
enemy.
me fucking problems.
I might chase you with Klaus, man. Fuck this. I don't know that I've ever felt worse obviously I felt really bad when his sister died, but I was like, this is awful, dude. Like, this isn't a cool thing to do.
You've given him a lot of real tangible problems.
Right.
Like just logistical nightmares. That sucks. That's worse than a lot of things.
Right. This isn't something that you do to like a vampire who's going to have a really long time to be able to accrue money and stonks. Like, you gave this to a human being. What the hell? Right. He has no family. Oh, God. Anyway.
What if he's like, hey, guys, I know I've been like your cool human friend and stuff. Would any one of you be open to turning me? Because at this rate, I don't think I can retire anymore.
Right. I know
I need a bit of a leeway, a runway here, financially.
I know that, Elena, the reason why you're in this whole fucking mess is because I got saved instead of you. But if you could just do me a real solid right now, so I can pay for this house, that would be dope, actually.
Yeah, that'd be so sick. I'll owe you for sure, totally.
For sure.
But I also did save a lot of your guys' lives, so maybe we're square, maybe we're even. I don't know. God
damn. It's just, I know that if I had watched this when it came out, I would have been, I wouldn't have been 19. I would have been 18 when this came out. This would have been the last thing on my list. But watching this now, as I'm almost 31, it is the biggest problem for me. It is the only thing I can focus on because that is so stressful to do to someone. Yeah. I hate it.
It's nasty work.
It's just, it's a real fucky thing to do to someone. But you know what? I know Matt can handle it because he's just he's gotten through everything else. So I think he'll be fine. Here's my question for you. Next week is titled Because the Night, episode 17. Are we gonna finally get a Gossip Girl crossover?
Oh my god. I mean, this looks very... Look at this fit. Look at this New York City fit.
Look at this red hair.
Yeah, these fucking lace-up boots. This red streak.
Get her in the city, finally.
Yeah. God.
If anything's gonna make you feel, it's gotta be New York City, right?
Right. And like Chuck Bass is a vampire. So logistically, thematically that would work as a crossover. We could just slop that in there real easy.
Now, Catherine and Chuck Bass, too powerful. That would set the world on fire. Regular Elena would be eaten up by Chuck Bass. Yeah. This Elena.
Yeah. Right.
And
maybe
Chuck.
The perfect fighter.
Talk about meeting your match. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
There's got to be fan fiction on that. I'll tell you.
Oh, jeez. I hope
not. We have some amazing patrons to thank. Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Greg Lautner.
Ooh, thank you to April Dobrev.
Ooh, thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ooh, thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ow. Thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh, thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ow. Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh, thank you to Janae Bennett. Come on down.
Ow. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ow. Thank you to Emily O'Zara.
Ooh, and last but certainly not least, thank you to Jaylene Ivishkov.
Pew, pew, pew.
This is a fanfiction by the author purple_glitter_29. It is titled...
I'm going to say purple nurple.
Oh, no. Never.
Could you imagine?
Can you imagine? This is titled, I Only Know That Summer Sang in Me. The summary is, sometimes, after everything, Elena doesn't know whether Caroline even remembers what they were like. And I'm, sorry. I'm just going to apologize ahead of time.
Right.
For this, there are no chapters. This is all in one. Caroline carries Elena out of the hospital, shoves Jeremy out of the back seat to curl up with her and fuss over her head, drags her over the threshold of her own house and herds her on the couch like Elena is a kitten, despite her flailing protests, and tucks her in snugly with a blanket they used to share during slumber parties. Offers tea and alcohol, hands pointedly fluttering, never shaking. Caroline Forbes' hands never shake, and Elena knows better than to interrupt before Caroline has talked herself out of her fears, but she can only be relieved when her best friend runs out of fuel, quiets, and sits beside her. When the lights, so dim, shining behind her, Caroline abruptly looks both older than she is, than she'll ever get to be, and younger, like her 14-year-old self, who sneaked into Elena's room to kiss her for hours. It suddenly stings, sharply, how far they are from that kind of innocent mischief. But they're both so messed up enough, their love lies messed up enough, not to add Elena's nostalgic reminiscing of simpler times in their current crisis, just because Caroline is holding her hand and looking at her like she'd like to wrap her up in bubble wrap and hide her away. There's no reason she should still be feeling the imprint of Caroline's fingers on hers, or the phantom of her lip on Elena's hair hours later. It's when Caroline does things like these that Elena is convinced that summer never existed really, that it was all a figment of her imagination. How could she and Caroline, who back then almost spent as much time fighting as they didn't, who now spend more time looking at each other cross thresholds like oceans, have spent so many hours in her bed, in the alley behind the grill, in the forest, just being, exchanging kisses and giggling at the illicit thrill of it, hands wrapped into each other's hair, leaning against walls, trees, her bedroom door, pressed against each other from hip to mouth. How could that time have disappeared if she hadn't imagined it? And scene.
Oof. Ouch. Ouch.
So, Purple Glitter 29, you're rude.
Damn. Yeah.
You're nasty. But thank you.
But beautiful work.
But beautiful work, as always. Thank you. I like to think that a lot of people saw that fight in the trees and they were like, you know what that is? That's inspiration for pain.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
Well, friends, as always, please enjoy the amazing work that is on Apple TV.
Oh, yeah.
Please enjoy the wonders that are your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And if you hear shouting from the streets, that's probably echoes from Chicago this week.
Certainly. Absolutely.
There's a lot of local pride, so I've heard.
Hell yeah.
Tell your friends about the show. Tell your family about the show. Please enjoy Twilight on Netflix right now, as it is.
Oh, yeah.
And as we say...
Enjoy it while it's here.
Enjoy it while it's here. Yes, as always. And as we say here, in the Pacific Northwest...
Get bit.
Ooh!
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.